Yeah, following on from Deputy MacDonald's question, there's not only the issue of pupils who may have underlying conditions, but there's also parents who are worried, who have serious underlying conditions. And it's not clear to me, and I've had quite a few calls about this, what those parents should do. They don't know what to do, and whether, is there a danger for them by sending their children to school? So we need supports and we need advice to people about what they do in that situation. Taoiseach, the Department and the HSA have agreed a plan to monitor school compliance with COVID-19 restrictions, but are not intending to publish the outcome of those inspections, and it seems not share that information with, for example, the teachers themselves, but only with principals and with the board. Now, this does not seem to me to be acceptable. Surely we should have, as well as principals, and this, by the way, extends to all workplaces, but certainly in schools, surely we should have health and safety representatives appointed in every school among the school staff, who will also receive that information if there are problems, and indeed who can represent the staff in terms of any concerns they have about failure to properly apply public health guidelines, restrictions, distancing and so on in schools.
First of all, in terms of the Electric Ireland, I haven't been personally speaking to Electric Ireland. I did say to you I spoke to the Minister, Eamon Ryan. We've been in touch with Electric Ireland. When I get a response, I'll come back. But I also said to you that there was a reduction in utility prices earlier this year, and that the presentation you made on that last occasion wasn't entirely accurate. And it's a matter. And in terms of the PSO, I outlined our policy in relation to renewable energy. In relation to arrangements for children, first of all, who have high-risk medical conditions who cannot attend school. Obviously, the roadmap provides a model, that's the education roadmap, provides a model of support and guidance to schools for such people who themselves cannot attend due to COVID-19 public health requirements and their own underlying conditions. And a key element of that is a two-way link between the school and the home, if at all feasible. And then obviously home tuition is an option in the situation you're saying. The other siblings may not be able to go to school either, because of a fear of bringing back infection into the home. Well, home tuition is one intervention. It's one intervention that okay, but like people don't have, you're not going to produce optimal solutions left, right, centre. But I mean, I'm just saying it's an option, and some people avail of it. The third option is some other model to develop, which needs to be fleshed out, needs to be fleshed out. It's not, as simple as just calling for it. It needs to be developed and worked through. In terms of mental health supports, there have been additional psychologists recruited as a result of the roadmap to NEPS, the National Education Psychological Service, and also the full provision for school guidance counsellors, which is something I committed to during Confidence in Supply, and it's now 100% restored because of my commitment to doing it, both in opposition and in government, and which provides very important supports to students at second level in terms of returning to school. And to be fair to the education roadmap, it had a particular focus on the psychological well-being of students and pupils as they return to school, given the prolonged lockdown and closure of schools and the impact on their lives. And children are developing and have developed significant resilience in the face of the pandemic, and young people have as well, and it's been particularly challenging for them, but I would put the view that they've responded with some degree of resilience. In terms of, I think Deputy Boyd Barrett, your point was in relation to the inspections and monitoring. Again, the everything that's been done so far has been in partnership in terms of the school reopening, and obviously, it's important, I think, that the inspections take place and that they're done in a way of ensuring improvement and constructive compliance and so on. And I think it's, I surmise, and I will seek further information on this from the department, but I surmise that they want to bring schools with them, that they don't want to be naming and shaming, as some inspectoral, some sort of inspections can evolve into, that rather where they see shortcomings or whatever, they'd work with the school management and the school board and the principals and say, look, your shortcomings are here, you need to get them sorted. And that would be with the board, which has parent representatives and community representatives and teacher representatives. But I'm only surmising that might be one of the rationales, or indeed the partners in education will have a say in this as well. But I will come back to you in relation to that, because I read that report this morning as well. In terms of testing in schools, I gave you figures this morning. I think the positivity rate is less than 1% between the ages of 0 and 14. It's quite comprehensive. There's quite a number of schools getting advice. There's been a lot of pressure on the testing system since schools returned, and that was understandable. It was expected, and the testing overall has increased. And as I said, 1 million tests done today overall. Today they passed 1 million tests administered in Ireland, and this week again we'll see last week saw the largest ever recorded number of tests in any 1 week. So there has been a significant degree of input from the HSE in relation to that, and they have been working closely with the schools and with education in relation to the situation as it pertains to schools and to students and to children who need and who require testing. On the leaving certificate, in my meetings with the department and the Minister for Education, absolutely determined that there will be a physical leaving certificate next year, come what may. And we don't want to go back to the calculated grade system. They are planning and preparing for how do we manage this year's leaving certs who were 5th year last year and who lost some months as a result of the lockdown. And some of the ideas that are being developed are around a broader choice in the range of questions that will be offered to students who may be fearful that they didn't get the time to cover the entire curriculum, so that there be a greater choice for students in subjects like history and English and geography, and most subjects for that matter. But I leave that to the curriculum experts and the examination people who set the examinations. I think it's very important that we do everything we possibly can to have physical exams next year, and the planning starts now in relation to that. And the Chief Inspector was adamant with me that was the plan and that was the commitment. In terms of higher education and the enhanced protection measures that NEFID have asked the universities and institutes of technology to take, each college are adapting various measures suitable to the site and the campus and the location. Quite a number of them are online for a lot of courses. So you're looking at blended learning. One is looking at students coming in for some hours a week, physically on campus. For a lot of it, it's online, and different colleges have different policies. Well, that's why NEFID have advised, and the Minister for Higher Education and Higher and Further Education is engaging now with the various institutes and universities with a view to further enhancing their measures.
There have been more